Well, we will get to know if it says go live, and I think we are live. Let's just, yes. So, hi E, how are you?
Uh, Hello, I'm good.
Let's just see if we are live, and then we can begin. So, okay, I think we are. I think we are. So, good evening, everybody. This is Shefali Chopra, and I must do an honest confession. For a very long time, I have really not introduced myself, but this particular session is very special, and I'll tell you why. So, let me introduce myself. I'm Shefali Chopra, I'm your storyteller, I'm a TEDx speaker, I'm a theater exponent as well, and a motivational speaker. Well, these are some of the things that I am, but yes, they do not complete me. As a storyteller, I can tell you one story can change many lives. And trust me, it does. It really does. You know, the funny part about stories is that they travel. They travel from one era to the other, from the neighborhood to the other neighborhood, from one country to the other. And today we have this dynamic story. Though I'm a storyteller, but today it's going to be more like a conversational style between me and my exceptional guest. I'm going to shortly tell you all about my guest. And in fact, he will tell you all about himself. But yes, do you even know that the kind of impact stories have? It's amazing. You know, we can learn a lesson through stories much more than otherwise. They leave an impact on people's mind at least 22 times more than just a little thing that you teach your children, or so called you give the gyan to people. Stories are always remembered time and again. You know, when we were little, we used to hear all the kinds of stories, and today, as a storyteller, I unfold stories of different people around me, of my own life, because I feel you never know how somebody's story can be a manual for someone else. Today, the guest I have is E. I welcome you here on the platform, E.
Yes. Thank you. It's a pleasure to join this conversation with you.
You will not believe it. I've been so excited. You know, when I hear about children in general, when I hear about children, there are children who are like, they're ordinary children. And then there are extraordinary children. And then there are people who make exceptional choices. You know, in school, a lot of times they tell you to stand in a line, or generally, even in life, you're supposed to follow a certain norm. And that's all we do all our lives. And there is this you who decided to live outside the box. In fact, if you ask me, I think the way you're living, you think that there is no box at all. You started pretty early in life. Today, we are going to have conversations regarding your trip from Kargil to Kanyakumari, and that too, walking. I need to know, E, as a child, how were you as a child? Like, there are children who are naughty, there are children who are thoughtful, there are children who think much more than other children. What kind of a child were you?
Um Early on, I guess I was quite naughty, and I, like constantly used to challenge boundaries and assumptions. I was a very curious child. So as far as traveling is concerned, I've been always inclined to push boundaries, even as a child. I mean, there was a bus that went from a bus quite close to my home, which took us to school, and then it came back. But I was, I frequently just avoided the bus and just went around town, went strolling, checked out new places. So I was always into walking and exploring in a way.
So you were an explorer, if I may say.
Yes, I was a very curious kid, like oriented towards exploration.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, and I mean, I think what uh, made you stand apart is probably you thought of things differently. Did you have a mechanical kind of mind? Would you like to break toys and inspect everything? Like what is this made of, or how does it work? Was it something like that?
Yeah, yeah, I broke a lot of stuff when I was young, probably before my teen years. So
Okay.
yeah, did enough of it for a lifetime.
How did your parents cope up with your different kind of thought line? What is their take on it?
I mean, because of my odd ways and odd choices, I've always, at least early on, it was quite contentious, the situation with family, and especially because I think like throughout the subcontinent, there's a certain kind of pressure to follow like a standardized path, to do academically well, and then to orient yourself, in a direction where it leads to some sort of economic stability, family stability. So, as a person who's, quite throughout questioned those assumptions, I've not had the best of relations with my family.
But tell me, I mean, what I know of you is that you were brilliant as a kid. You were an outstanding student, and then suddenly you just decided to change your path. What exactly happened that you decided to change your path? I mean, it's not
Um,
easy. A lot of times people cannot accept it. Suddenly you just decide that, okay, fine, I don't really want to study any longer, and this is what I want to do. It's not easy. Acceptance is not easy. But what made you think so?
well, I've always been someone who doesn't take the information or the way that's shown to me for granted. And I think that's something that just built on. So I mean, it came to a point where I felt like I mean, school wasn't the place for me, and then I couldn't convince myself to continue on.
Okay, that's interesting. When I read your profile and when I spoke to you, I realized that suddenly you decided to walk and walk quite a lot. I mean, unimaginable for any ordinary person to do that. In 2015, that's when you walked about 1080 kilometers, if I'm not mistaken, in the plains of Nepal. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes. I mean, I quit school when I was around 14 years old. So after that, I was inclined towards initially towards political activism, and then I felt like that wasn't my kind of thing. So it kind of led to social activism in the first half of the 2010s decade, and I think it was I sort of had an existential crisis as well in 2014 when I had a bout of tuberculosis.
Oh,
So after that, I think I became more introspective as an individual because I had to be quarantined at home for quite a significant amount of time. And for someone who's always been going around traveling, I think that was quite the key turning point in my life because before 2015, 2014, I read a lot of nonfiction. I was more into history and philosophy and perspectives. And like 2015 was, I think, a turning point in my life, because I started reading fiction and like other narratives as well. So um, in 2015, there was a protest going on in the plains of Nepal, and I felt like those marginalized voices, they needed to be heard. That when conversations happen, when these assumptions get challenged, there can be a space for empathy and reconciliation. And I saw that, well, I mean, there was an inner voice that led me towards doing that walk.
How interesting. And then 2016, you started to do short hikes and treks. And early 2017, before you realized you wanted to actually, walk the Great Himalayan Trail.
Yes.
And my God, I can't even believe it. I mean, this is something, I mean, so many people only dream of. And here you suddenly decided to challenge your own self. Was it also just curiosity?
Yeah, I mean, it's just for someone, like who's not seen me throughout the years, or like who just picks on like the statement that I'm walking from Kargil towards Kanyakumari. I'm trying to get to Kanyakumari. It's not a certainty at this point, um, but I've almost walked halfway through.
Yes.
I mean, it might seem like a shocking thing, or like something that's out of the ordinary, but for me, it's been a process. It's been a very gradual thing. Like I mean, so as I said, I started out by doing short walks when I was in school, and then it eventually grew into walks that were associated with activism. And then I did short treks. Then it was easier to fathom walking across the Himalayas on a journey that could be called a pilgrimage as well, a pilgrimage of self introspection. And so I walked around 6,000 kilometers in 2017 and 18 within Nepal, through four different belts. So then, like even if I do complete this walk, it would only be around 4,500 odd kilometers. So I think, as it just isn't as big as a deal for me, because it's been a gradual process. And more than I think I'm not looking at Kanyakumari right now. I'm just looking at the Gwalior Fort. I intend to go there tomorrow, and so it's a day in day out process. It's a daily thing. Every day I wake up and I feel like it's a new life. It's a new
Wow.
path. It's a new journey. So it's it doesn't take a toll on me.
I can imagine. I mean, suddenly, I mean, you decided to start from Kargil and hopefully to go till Kanyakumari, as you said. I mean, it requires a certain amount of dedication, obviously. Every day you get up and you thank God or whatever, superpower or whoever you believe in. Ki, oh, thank God. You have to have that gratitude. And I'm sure you have that. And you get up in the morning and decide to walk a little more than what you did the previous night or previous day. But obviously, there has to be some kind of thing that motivated you to take this path. Anybody who's motivated you, or anybody is like your hero, or it was just self created.
I don't know. I think at this point, I kind of am very critical of the entire idea of like hero making and hero worshipping. I think everyone, regardless of what they're doing in their life, is a hero. Like people don't need to do extraordinary things to be heroes or to be celebrated. I think it's just a marketing thing. Like some people are better recognized than others, but I think for me it's something that's deeply personal. It's It's an inner voice. It's something that gives me a sense of satisfaction. It is something that in a way, it helps me relate to the world better. And I mean, the ripple effect has been such that it gives other people hope as well, or at least that's what has been conveyed to me through a lot of people. So I mean, it's almost seamless at this point.
I must convey this to you. There is somebody called Dolma Al Magar, and they're saying hi to you. They're very happy to see
Sure,
you because they're seeing you after a long time. And the
sure.
association is this is Bishu's wife from Chitwan, Sauraha.
Acha, acha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so I don't know. So they're saying hi to you. So
Yes.
this is what is happening. And from your what I just heard from you, that of course it was an inner voice, and inner voice can be quite magical. And they say when you really desire something from within, or if you do something that is an extension of you, that transcends in a very beautiful fashion. It just transcends in a beautiful fashion. And I think that is exactly what's happening to you. When you started your journey, obviously you have crossed so many paths, so many places, from Kashmir to Jammu to like other places that you kept crossing. Then you had Agra, you had of course Punjab. You are heading towards Gwalior, right?
Oh, no,
So
I am in Gwalior right
I'm
now.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, you are in Gwalior. So I realize you must have walked so many paths and met so many people. Obviously, when you meet people, it's a different connect. All sorts of people from different parts of the region, and the beauty is different. I mean, Agra is special for petha. It's very popular. That's what they say. And
Mm.
Jammu is very popular for rajma chawal, and stuff like that. I'm sure you enjoyed different kind of cuisines, different kind of feeling that you must have received from the people, the warmth, or even an attitude. I don't know. What have you maximum faced? What is the kind of attitude? Was it an attitude? Were they rude? Were they nice? Were they gentle? What was your experience? We would like to know.
I think people have been quite welcoming and warm throughout the way. There was a guy that I had met in Kargil when I was just exploring the town. Um, and so this elderly guy, probably in his 60s, so he told me that I should give everyone a salam, like offer everyone my respects. And then if you give a salam, then people will you know there will be kalam, which is like conversation. And if you offer your respect to people, and if there's some sort of conversation, there will never be a problem. And I think that has held consistently through, regardless of where I've been or where I've gone. That like if there's this popular saying as well, like "aap bhala to sab bhala." So
That's true.
I mean, everything's worked out splendidly well. And I mean, of course, there are good and like more self-oriented people everywhere. There are giving and like like people who are more selfish everywhere. But I mean, I've been lucky enough to meet the right people at least every night. To find some kind of shelter, some kind of support, like some kind of understanding. And I think that is the greatest thing.
Yes, of course. You come across so many people and you realize that this is also like unfolding so many things. There's somebody called Rustam Kafle. They're saying,
Sure.
miss you, E. And best wishes as
Acha.
well. They're sending you some best wishes. See,
Acha.
so many people
Ah,
who want to make sure that you're doing well, and they are wishing you. Of course, they want that your journey should be completed. When you meet people, I'm sure there is a certain amount of learning. What have you learned from them? And how do you perceive these kind of people when you meet them?
hmm. Um, I mean, I think I've met so many people, and like there's been all sorts of different experiences every day, and like I've had all kinds of waters, like all kinds of food, and um, I think like every single conversation, every drop of water, and like everything that I've encountered on the way, like, every experience has helped mold me as a person. Uh, I see myself as a vessel, reflecting on all these, you carrying all these experiences and carrying the goodness. And I think, in I think the most simplest terms, my vision is growing because of this. Because the more I see, the more places that I become a part of, my the way I see the world is infinitely more profound and wide than it was before.
Wow. I think it's so beautiful. Well, just to add a little personal touch to it, I'm sure when you were crossing Agra, you must have seen so many posters of Charat Pratap Singh.
Yes, yes, in Hathras, around Hathras, yeah.
Hathras, yes, yes.
Mm,
And it feels so good. Like when you see such huge hoardings of somebody you know, it feels very good.
yes. Oh, I mean, I met Charat for the first time in 2014, and then it was quite coincidental.
Okay.
I mean, like, he's related to a friend of mine,
Okay.
and he had given me a card which said that he's the prince of Hathras and Mathura. So like I mean, like I just remembered that when I was passing through, and I just gave him a call. So
So nice.
yeah, all these dots connect, like all these new ripples are created when you walk. And like like if I hadn't walked, I would have never reached Mathura or Hathras or all these places. So it's just creating infinite possibilities, infinite connections, and you never know how the butterfly effects of it are going to play out over time.
Absolutely, you're right. And yeah, we also call him Raja Sahib. So I know when you say ki he's the prince of Hathras, we also call him Raja Sahib. And it's very sweet of both Prativa and Charat to make this conversation possible. I'll be so thankful to them anyhow.
Yeah,
I
even this is such a coincidence. I mean, like you just
Yes,
happen to
it
be
is.
in the right
It
place.
is so beautiful,
Yeah.
It is so beautiful for me to unfold your story in this special in this way because I do stories, but the conversational style is the first time that I'm unfolding a story, and I'm loving it. I must say that. I would like to know as time will pass by. Today is 2021. How do you see yourself in the future? Say about maybe like 5 years from now. What are you planning to do? How do you see yourself? What do you see, when you think of yourself?
I mean, I really don't know. And I mean, like 5 years back, I was, like on a fast into oblivion in a jail cell near Singhdarbar, which is the seat of the Nepali government. And like 5 years before that, I was aspiring to like be a minister someday, like get into politics and like all that. I was in a party back then. So like things have, like the E of 2011 would not have seen where the E of 2016 was going to be, and
Wow.
the E of 2016 would not have imagined like the same guy, walking across India in 2021, and I just don't know. I mean, perhaps if the pandemic hadn't happened, if circumstances were different, I would have probably been walking across a different subcontinent or a different country. So you never know what plans life has for you, and I think the more open you are to possibilities, and the less boundaries you have when it comes to what you want to do or what you can do, then life just becomes quite the miracle.
I love this about you. I realized when you were talking, I was imagining a onion. I mean, it's a very silly thing to think of, but that's exactly what I was thinking about. Because, when you take an onion and you start to peel it, you know, one layer after the other. And that's exactly, I think, is with us human beings. We are so layered over a period of time. Either it's our experiences, there are circumstances, there are people. So we get all those layers. And when you decide as an individual that I need to unlayer myself. And I think that's exactly what's the process you were talking about. When you unlayer yourself, you realize that you don't live 5 years from down the line, or 2 years, or 1 year. You just live the moment. And I think what is beautiful is that you start to embrace yourself as a better human being, because as you said, you don't have to be apologetic for the younger like E, or or feel anything towards it, because as you grow up, I am going to say that as you grow up with time, you realize that a different part or a persona of you also comes out. And I think when you start to embrace that, that is a beautiful thing about any human being, for that matter of fact. And if you have realized this, this is really beautiful thing that you're experiencing in this journey of life. Now that you have gone through so much, I really want to know. I am sure there are moments which are very special where you felt probably a bit mushy. And then there were moments probably that maybe got you angry. Any special thing that you would like to share with our audience?
uh, yeah, I mean, it's been 63 days on the road, so I mean, it's quite difficult to recall a precise moment or anything that has been like quite unnerving, or I mean, like it's not like a movie where you have a climax.
Yeah, I
Like
understand.
yeah, yeah, it's like you're flowing on a river, and you just don't know what's coming after the next bend. So I mean, like there's also, I think, like, because I've done so much walking, interacted with so many people over the years, had a very wide range of experiences, seen all the ups and downs. I think there's a certain centeredness that comes with it, like a certain steadiness. So, um, like, you don't really, get like never. I mean, like, you don't get to be on the extreme end of the feeling spectrum in any way. I mean, like, things that would get most people pissed off barely annoy me. Things that would give people the like celebratory kind of feeling, uh, like, are like just very normal to me. And I think that happens when you have a wide range of experiences. There's a centeredness that comes with it. I mean, yeah. So there's nothing that is coming to mind when I think of a really happy or a sad moment.
Okay. Well, I can see that you're very centered and in control of your emotions. And maybe because you have seen so much, and that is what your core has become over a period of time. That is what I gather about you. Of course, I'm sure it's been a long travel, but somewhere, I mean, this is not a question that I wanted to ask you, but there have been questions that have been floating to me to ask you. I mean, there was a question saying that somewhere your parents would have been upset with you. And do you think you would want to say something for them?
Uh, yeah, I mean, like as a teenager, I had quite the contentious relationship with them. But then I think over the years, a sort of understanding has developed that a sort of acceptance that like this is the life I'm living. It's very unconventional. It's ridden with risks. It's on a different scale. It's on a different wavelength. So I think it's just something that people come to terms with. Uh, if if the sun is at like 45 degrees, what can you do about it? The sun's just at 45 degrees.
I get that. Now, the
Yeah.
thing is that a lot of parents don't get it. I mean, I am also a parent. I'm sure it would have been difficult for me as well. But yes, every child is different. Every child is gifted. Every child unfolds his or her future the way it has to be. I had heard this as a child. It's a Hindi thing, and I'm just going to quote it. माँ बाप बच्चों के जन्म के साथी होते हैं मगर कर्म के नहीं. So what you do is your karma and your dharma. By virtue of birth, they get you into this life, and then you unfold your own journey. I know it sounds strange to say that, but that is a fact of life. And somewhere we all children are gifted, and we open up or bloom according to our own time. Timing is really not in our hands; it's somewhere else. Um, these were things that I was very intrigued about. I was very intrigued about your story because I thought, oh my God, this guy walking from Kargil to Kanyakumari and without any agenda. I mean, just good vibes and happiness and just that pure passion of walking into this feeling without any money. Am I right?
No, no. I've it's on a very low budget.
A very tight
But yes,
budget. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it's on a very tight budget. But I mean, it's not beg, borrow, and steal.
No, no, obviously not. But
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, it gave me goosebumps just thinking about it. I mean, how could one just walk? And it's a big country. It's not like I'm just going for a walk and coming back home in the evening. So every place that you stay becomes your home for that one night. And in true sense, I would call you a world traveler. The world is just beginning to unfold itself, embracing you and your vision. Let me put it this way. And I think it's a beautiful journey. You have just started to, walk onto this path. And as you go by, I'm sure it'll turn more beautiful and more enriching because what happens is when you're walking through this path, you're of course collecting so many stories and enriching your experiences. You must have become a collector by now,
Yeah.
collecting different stories from different parts of India and also Nepal. When people look at you, uh, what is their first impression?
Um, I mean, it depends on the person. Like some people think I'm traveling casually. Others think it's more akin to a pilgrimage, which it could be, but not in the way they're probably seeing it. Um, and well, it's just comes as a perspective. I mean, like it's actually when people see me and like when they make a judgment or a pronouncement, it's often more about who they are than who I am.
Wow, that's very deep. I completely agree with you. Well, let's not stretch this. I would like you to tell me if you would like to thank anybody right here on this platform. So whenever they hear you talk, whenever they hear this session, so they know that you have been thanking them.
Oh no, I mean like so this walk of mine, it's basically crowdsourced. Uh, so anyone and everyone who's contributed, anyone and everyone who's wished me well. Um, I think anyone and everyone who's helped me on the way. I mean, I'm massively grateful for them. I mean, a lot of people say that I'm, living their dreams, their aspirations, like doing what uh, they would have wanted to do. And a lot of people, like say that I'm helping inspire others to challenge conventional norms and boundaries. And I think I'm grateful for everyone who believes in me, who believes in the process, who sees beyond conventional values and beliefs, and I'm really grateful.
Okay, thank you so much, E, for being here today. But I would want one little thing, one little message for the world out there.
Uh, and it's difficult to sum up, but then I think so far, I mean, I'm the kind of person who likes to live my truths, who likes to reflect, like the conclusions that I have in the way I do things and in my lifestyle. Like I think I'm less of a preacher and more of a practitioner. And I think that's the best way to get things across because I mean it's probably not even my right or to tell people to do this or not to do that, or but what I can do is at least live my truth, and at least people can take what they want to away from that. So I mean, so far, I mean, I think initially, like I came across a lot of people, at least in the northern states, were like tormented by what they saw in the news, and especially like with growing colonies, like gated colonies and all that. Like your only reach to the outside world is shaped by social media and mass media, and then like you have all these assumptions about people, all these assumptions about places, and I think. The conventional media streams are doing a great disservice to people and to humanity as a whole as well, because I mean they just pick up on kidnappings and murders and like thing is going wrong and that thing is going wrong, and then of course there's all that politically motivated stuff. But I mean, like if you go out there and actually like meet and engage with people, like just meet people from the community that you think is, probably like that you hate, or like if you meet people who are doing stuff that you think is sacrilege, like I think if you just transcend those boundaries, and make conversation and actually go and visit different places, try new things. I think that is the best you can do. Like that's at least that's what I've been trying to do.
Wow. I think today, when people watch this session later, there'll be so much to learn from what you just said. And I'm sure there are so many people out there who wanted to know what real thing you had in your mind. And I think you have conveyed it all. So they'll have their answers. And here I'd like to thank you for making this little time out for me. And I have been really very happy and very thankful to you for taking this time out. So
No, no,
thank
it's
you,
it's
Ian.
it's been wonderful. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you
Uh-huh.
so much for being on this program. And of course, I wish you all the very best. And of course, once you reach Kanyakumari, and I would like to hear the good news that you are there, and it will be quite a reason for me to celebrate. So, all the best. Take care. Namaste.
Thank you, thank you.